All right, I started recording. So I think we only had one agenda item for today. Is that Avesh? You had something? Is that right?
Yeah,
Did anyone else have something they wanted to talk about before we go into what Avesh was going to talk about?
No, the same issue that existed forever. So we need a little bit more active reviewers in the community in SIG scheduling because there's a lot of PRs, including my own. I am reviewing a lot of them, but I cannot review my own PRs. So I hope we can find more people who are willing to review PRs.
yeah. Actually, I've been thinking about. I want to spend more time on reviewing, but I'm sorry that I'm not able to do. Maybe from now onwards, I try to spend more time on reviewing.
Okay, sure.
I
Yeah.
I go in batches and it fits in spurts. So if there are things that need review, it's probably better to ping me because right now my backlog is pretty enormous. Uh, and I go through and I prune it like once a week, to go through all of them that needs to be taken care of. But the growing the reviewer pool, I think, should probably be part of our efforts too, because I know like we spent a lot of time getting Klaus up to speed, and now he's up to speed, but he kind of disappeared. And it'd be ideal to kind of grow that pool as well, because all of us are busy, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to help review some other people PRs, and there are a couple other guys relatively active in the community who can be reviewers, but I believe they are like more junior engineers. Maybe they are not fully familiar with all the little details in the scheduler, so they may need a little bit more time until they get up to speed and they become fully familiar with everything. In the meantime, probably we need a little bit help from more experienced members of the community, including you guys, to help get them up to speed and also review the existing PRs.
Can you put a list of the PRs that are currently pending inside of the notes, and we can send a PSA out to the SIG mailing list?
Yeah, I can probably find those who need more attention in a shorter period of time and send them to you guys. Or I can send them to the SIG scheduling.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, it's a problem. I don't know. I mean, the SIG is pretty small, and we don't have a lot of active reviewers, like you said. So we should think about what to do about that. But yeah, at least we can try to use the folks we do have more actively if they have time, like Avesh and Tim. That'd be good. Okay, any other agenda items before Avesh goes? I guess not. Avesh, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, hi. So I wanted to talk about that issue regarding scheduling of best effort pods based on node uses. I think in the past, the reason we have not done that, and I think there was a comment from David previously that it's blocked on Matrix API, but it seems now Matrix APIs have been part of Cube since 1.8. So I think it would be good to work on that. As far as I understand, also I haven't looked into detail at the metric side, but I think it seems to be a good time to start on that. And if you all think that it's a good thing to start working on, Ravi and I are really interested to listen to that. So I just wanted to bring it up.
I absolutely think it's actually something super useful. I briefly saw that that PR that you sent out, and I know that there are some questions. I guess Marek had asked some questions or had some suggestions on that PR, but Marek has changed roles. I don't expect him to be responsive really on those PRs anymore. So maybe you can go ahead and implement things that you have in mind. I know that he had the suggestion was that to break down the stats on various predicates, I believe, right, or priorities. But if that's too much work, I think it's fine if we go with the first version of having like one generic stats for like priorities, another one for predicates.
So one thing I also like I haven't sent any PR. I don't know whether I copied incorrect link, but actually it's an issue link. But anyway,
I think there is a confusion here, Bobby. The thing that you were talking about is the metrics PR that I have raised for predicate and priority evaluation, and Avesh is talking about the how metrics can be used for scheduling. In the scheduling, when we are scheduling, instead of checking allocatables, can we use the existing metrics?
Just a second, I'll paste that link again. I don't know.
Okay, I don't see any links. Yeah, maybe I'm confused with something else, but right.
Yeah, so actually it's mainly about scheduling of best effort pods based on metrics API, because right now in best effort pods we don't specify any resource requirements. So, and also like we don't we only consider at nodes, we only consider resource requests of the running pods. We don't really take into consideration actual uses. So I think it would be better for best ever pod to schedule on nodes if we have actual uses of the nodes through metrics APIs. And as I said, I think metrics APIs have been part of Cube since 1.8. So it seems it might be a good time to start working on that.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, this is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Avesh, is there a design doc for how you would do the usage-based scheduling?
Yeah, no, we haven't prepared. That's what like as next step, we want to work on that. So maybe by the next SIG scheduling meeting, we want to have that design doc. But right now we don't have any design doc. But we are that is the next step we want to work on. Yeah.
So why is it limited to best effort pods? Why not versatile as well?
Actually, I think I would say that's a starting point, because anyway, like for other pods like bustable pods or guaranteed pods, they specify resource requirements. And in fact, when we calculate node uses, we also compute resource requirements of those pods. So I think it seems it's right now it seems it's more important for best effort pods, because we don't know anything about their uses or any node uses. So
sure. So is this going to be the first step, and then maybe in the next step you're going to cover burstable as well? Because burstable has a very, very broad meaning. So I can go and say I need 1 megabytes of memory, and I can burst up to 10 gigabytes. I mean, the range could be really, really wide. So that's in a very, very much similar to a best effort pod. Maybe we should also consider those as well.
Yeah, exactly. So as I said, like first, like we want to have some design document, and then we can include other things also. So it's just not limited to best effort pods. We can include other, but that's just a starting point right now.
Yeah, that makes sense to me at least. But yeah, I think a design doc would be a good starting point. Probably no one will have time to review it until the 1.8 feature or code freeze starts. Then that probably it's a good time between that and 1.9 for folks to review it and discuss it.
Yeah.
But I agree that it would be useful, and I haven't been following the metrics API, but if it now gives the kind of usage information you would need, then it seems like that would be it's unblocked.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how much history. Like, does it capture some kind of average over some time period? I can't remember.
Yeah, right. Actually, you are right. Even right now, it does not capture. It's just like at that point what we are getting.
So you might want to think about how to handle that, because just the instantaneous usage is probably not useful. So I don't know where you might want to ask the folks who worked on that, like the monitoring, well, whatever, the SIG that
Yeah, I think it's scaling.
monitoring SIG, whatever it's called, metric SIG, like if they have a plan to do like, you know, averages or whatever over time windows, and expose that, because if not, you might have to do that yourself. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. So as a design doc, we want to look into all those things, and yeah, definitely we want to talk to those guys also.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, I think everybody agrees that this would be a useful thing to do.
Yeah.
Sounds like cool.
Yeah, so that's all I have.
Is there anything else people want to talk about?
No, not really. I can just give you a quick update on things going on in SIG scheduling, I guess. In terms of features or some of the bigger PRs that are going in 1.9, is that fine, or someone has other better ideas for using the time?
Yeah, sure. I think that's fine.
Yeah. So one of the bigger changes that has that's already gone in is the changes to the config. So scheduler config is gonna use basically most of the config parameters are already deprecated, and we are using a -- config to give a component config or a component config file to the scheduler for the configuration. That was a relatively large PR that is already merged. I'm working on adding starvation support or fixing the starvation problem of pod preemption. Hopefully that will get merged if we get to review it in time for before the code freeze. I will also try to address the pod disruption budget or add the support for it during preemption. I'm not so hopeful that I'll get to it before the code freeze. Among other, well, there has been a couple of smaller fixes here and there, which are not very notable. That's pretty much it that I can remember.
Okay, cool. Anything else people want to talk about? I guess not.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're done for today.
Yeah.